Hi, I came across this particular article when I've been looking at one of the articles the other day. Paul had been mentioning an international, let me get it right, liaison officer, and looking for getting cooperation between different countries. Anyhow, I found this particular one and I thought it's got some reasonable points which some of them might be applicable, and it will illustrate other ones. So it's the International Journal of Police Science and Management, and this one was actually 1999. Okay, so just going down, that was the area, illegal drug problems. So getting interagency approaches, so cooperation between different parties. And going down, you'll see here on the front page it's just who did it. If we go over the next page to the abstract, you can see here it's talking about this paper is a case study of multi-agency alliance, and then it says it describes the two formative phases of the alliance: negotiation and commitment. It then goes on to recount potential barriers to the formation of multi-agency alliances. All of these are the problems as well, but then it goes on to actually identify critical factors for the successful formation of alliances, including common goals, etc. So I thought that was quite a nice little study. Actually, when you look at it, it is very much a description of actually what had happened, but it's got a lot of background theory and papers in the actual article. So I'll quickly go down to maybe another interesting part. It does use a case study. It uses this particular organisation which they've formed called CENTRO, and that's to actually locate lots of information together. So that's just a name they've made up. That's what they were using. Just to see here again, it is actually using a case study. Yin once again comes up. Yin's used a lot. Using to describe. Yeah, they actually do a bit more than describe, because later on they actually do try to pull out from this the barriers to the different parts of the organisation work together, and what they define as critical success factors. So we'll just go down to those different phases of this is management of change stuff. I think if you were going to look at this, it talks about negotiation phase and things like this. Another area you might want to look up, which is very similar in a way, is Lewin's 3 phases of change. Lewin talks about unfreezing the situation at first. It's like a block of ice, he says. The next thing that Lewin talks about is actually implementing the change, and then the third phase is refreezing. So it's like you actually melt the block of ice, you implement your changes when everything's melted, and then you refreeze everything again. And it seems to me like they're doing something like this. So Lewin, once again, they were mentioned in the lecture and the workshop. There's other things as well here, nice little tips about giving voice to small departments. There's other bits about getting the people involved at the top. I don't know quite where that goes. The police chiefs, representatives of the organisation. It is sort of like a cascade sort of idea, that you get people involved at the top and then you get them committed, and then they can then cascade that down further to management of change. It's what Gary was talking about, saying how do you actually manage to implement some of these changes, and it is about management of change. So going down, politics. The politics, that means within the organisation itself. And you'll see here opposition and competition from within. So, you've got to win over people within the organisation. So that's what that's about. Commitment to the actual program, that's probably equivalent to Lewin when he's talking about implementing the changes. Let's have a little look though at some of the barriers. I'm just going all the way down to see if I can find them. Here we are. Table 1, barriers and critical success factors to negotiation and commitment. So these are some of the things which have come out of the study. So again, if you were going to do something similar for your study, you could identify the barriers to change and the critical success factors. It's got similarities, hasn't it, to the Lewin's force field, which we looked at in the workshop. There's forces for and against change. And also you'll realise as well that you can look at stakeholders and the power which they have upon the changes. So basically what this study's done is it's taken a particular case study, which was the CENTRO one, and it's then looked at it in terms of the barriers and critical success factors. And the outcome, of course, will be applicable to CENTRO. The implication is that, yes, it can't be fully generalized, but you will see that the actual process that's going through here does tie in with well-known change management theory. Okay, so then it goes down to the end, conclusions, references, etc. So, not a highly statistical or heavy sort of approach. It's more a case of thinking about that particular case, what were the forces for and against the change. Might be useful.